Hey mates, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to look at Afterplants. It's been a long time since I've done one of these videos, but I'm back at it again. I'm going to sum up some of the most important things on different maps. The first one is Mirage, and the first thing is positioning. So how do you position yourself for the site and for the Afterplant? Obviously positioning is a very huge aspect, so I've narrowed it down to positioning of obviously where to put yourself in an Afterplant position, that you need to go out of the site sometimes, you need to stay on the site in different situations, and where you have to plant the bomb, and trade possibilities. So positioning is a huge factor in an Afterplant. Obviously communication is too. So the first thing we're going to look at is out of the site. It doesn't matter where you plant it. If you are at least 3 alive, you always have to get out of the site. Because if you just stay on the site, they can easily molly you, top you out, or nade you out. So always have at least one person out of the site at all times. Also because you're planting it for somewhere. If you're planting here, you probably planted it for CT or Palace. Here you can plant it for ramp, Palace and CT. Over here and here you probably have planted it for connector and jungle. The same here and ramp. You always have to keep in mind where have you planted the bomb. That's also what you do when you make a strat. For example, if you make an A execute, we would also be talking about where do you plant the bomb and how do we defend the bomb. Let's just say if we take an A execute scenario. So you have made this. Let's say you 1-on-1, so you have 4v4 for a retake. That could happen. It could also be a 4v3, it could also be a 3v3. But let's just say it's a 4v4. If it is a 4v4 and you have done this in the start of the round, the other team has so many nades. They can smoke you off here, they can smoke you off here, they can molly-top here, and then you have nowhere to position yourself. So you obviously always have to take an outer area. Therefore you need to be ready to maybe flash down CT or flash into jungle. That's also why you see people in higher level of CS go through the smokes, such as when the Pre did it at the Higo clutch, where he killed like one here and one here and one here. Then he had all of this position to defend the bomb. Mostly you go down CT and take this space, maybe get one more flash over to peek here, so you have all of this space, and then you can easily defend the bomb while you also can flash for a teammate and peek with it. You always have to have one guy out of the site to have some more space to work with, so you don't get too cramped and too locked down, because they can easily lock you down if you don't have that much space. If you have more space, they cannot easily lock you down. It's going to be harder for them to lock them down. Also, if you take more space, they have one less of an opportunity to come from there. So right now, considering that they are not flanking, they only have this spot to come from. Then you can easily defend it, especially if you have like 3 different angles they have to care about. The next thing is you also have to stay on the site. For this one, I've chosen overpass, because you can transition this to every single map, and you need to do some homework yourself to implement it into your playstyle. But for overpass, I've chosen this map for the stay on the site map, because I've seen a lot in Facets and in high level play that people plant here and they just go back to bathrooms or long and they just play the bomb, which is not a bad idea. You should do that, and that's where the first point comes in. But if all people do that, and they have, for example, if the CTs are 3 alive, they can just smoke this off, maybe molly-top this, have an AWP stationed here, and maybe a guy up here in a one-way smoke, and then the last one can just defuse the bomb, and you can't do anything, because if you shoot this, there's a guy on top that can shoot you. Here you have been mollied, so you can't peek that, and here you've just been dead by the AWPer. So you also have to defend the site. You have to stay on the site. That's why I said maybe you can have 1 guy out, maybe you can 2 guys out, maybe you can 3 guys out. It's different from time to time. It's different for the situation, but basically you should have some people here. If, for example, you can have 1 player standing here or maybe here, so you can see this, because when you go out stairs, you're probably going to peek this or like this and then go over here. So you're probably going to get the first contact and then you're going to hit him, while you can have another guy stationed here. You can also have a guy stationed like this or something like this, and have a guy stationed more like, I don't know, like this or something. Obviously you have to implement yourself. You can also have a guy standing over here or in here or over here or something like that. So obviously it's important to take some space, like I've said in Mirage, but it's also very important to stay on the site to fight for the site, so they don't just smoke the bomb off and ninja defuse it. Next point is trade possibilities. Trade possibilities is very important, both just in Counter-Strike in general, in retakes, in afterplans, in normal play where you just try to defend or attack a bomb site. It's very important to have trades. Here I've chosen Inferno. If you have the bomb site and you have taken some outer space, let's say you have taken construction or banana, we can start with construction. Then you might have a guy who's jiggling this, try and get a pick or something like that, and he's just defending like himself, and he's dead because he tries to be the hero. Now you have one less person alive, and if you just play 1v1, you're just gonna lose the round. You have to play the numbers game. So you also have to trade. You maybe have a guy there or there, and then you can bait for each other. You have a small crossfire, so if they walk in to the construction and peek this guy, you can peek with him. Then you're 2v2 or 2v1 or something like that. The same on banana. Maybe you have a guy car or something like that, and you have a guy anti-flashed here or something like that, while you have a guy jiggling CT or something like that. And you also have a trade possibility. If you always trade each other, well, you're going to win the round, especially if you are if you have the most numbers. If you have the most numbers and you're going to trade each other out all the way, you're going to win. If you're 4v3 and you're going to trade each other out, you're always going to win. It's more when you're down, if you're like 2v4 or something like that, then you need hero play, obviously. But you still have to play together. Then you might play the 4 and number 3, like you've seen so many times in both Faceit and in Pro Play. Maybe you play to banana, maybe you play to construction, which is a very common thing to do. But it's just something people always do because it's what you need to do. You need to always be ready to trade each other. It's just an important factor in just Counter-Strike, not just in Afterplants, but just in general. And you always just have to be ready to trade your partner. The last point I've already been slightly in, but I've chosen Mirage again on B bomb site this time instead. To show you what it is. It's basically the bomb plant. Okay, maybe it's the second to last, that's one more point. But bomb plant is very important. So obviously you need to, let's say you have done all these different things. You have taken short control because you need the space. You need to know that they can't come short, and you have an excellent player that can play Afterplant here over here, or the bomb planter. Then you have some guys side. Maybe you have one bench and one here. Maybe one in apps if you have 4 alive. Maybe you have one here and one out short. So the short guy is gonna play by himself, but these two are going to trade each other. Like you can easily play like that. And you have someone on the side, and you have a guy outside of the side. You have done all these correct things. Then let's say you have planted it here. Okay? Let's say you planted it there. These two are obviously always going to fight for the site, no matter what. So if the CTs luckily get both of those, gets the site, and if there's one alive, let's just say there's one alive of the CTs, he's just going to defuse it, but because you have the other guy all the way out here. So you always have to care about where you plant the bomb, like I've said before. Obviously the best place you could plant it would be here, or maybe down like here or something, but probably here. So even if these two get killed, you already have the short guy. If the short guy gets killed, well, these two are on the side, so they can easily just see the bomb no matter where they are. You have to plant the bomb for the guy or the guys who are going to be out of the site. The guys inside of the site, it doesn't matter where you plant the bomb. It matters rarely, but it doesn't matter like in basics. You always have to think about the outside of the site guy, because otherwise they're just going to defuse it and you can't make it to the bomb. Last thing is, where is the other team? You always have to have an overview of the situation, of the map and of the round. You always have to think, okay, who did I just kill? Did I kill the mid player who has played AWP in ticket booth when we made an A execute? Or did we just play an A anchor player with an AVP? Did we kill an A anchor, or did we kill a connector player? All of these things decides where you need to go. In some rounds, it decides what you're going to do and how you're going to play this Afterplant. For instance, if you kill the mid guy here, or you kill the connector guy here. Let's say you kill the connector guy here. This would be fairly easy to take because you can just molly top jungle. That's the mid guy gone, and then you can take connector. Maybe get a fight with the guy short. maybe even win that fight, and then you have the window player, maybe the A anchor player, but you have just killed the connector player, so probably you also have killed the A anchor player, and then you have the B anchor player. So where can they come from? Well, they can come from jungle. You can easily have an AWP standing here, because they can't come from connector, you already have one guy there. So you can easily just play an AWP here, and if he misses this shot, he's not an AWPer. Then you can plant the bomb to connector, because you already have connector, so you can plant the bomb here or here, maybe even here. And then they can come from basically only CT. You have taken this control because you have an AWP stationed there. You have taken this control because you have it, and then you only have CT to worry about. But when can they get to CT? The mid player is probably the fastest player to get to CT, and here is an AWP. So why don't you just flash it over and peek with two guys, then you probably get an AWP player. You can also just play passively and just wait for them to get into the site, and then you have a crossfire like on 3 angles. You already need to have an overview. So to sum up, to have a good afterplant, you need to get someone out of the site. So that means take some outer control. So you get a good afterplant. So you can easily kill a guy in a smoke if it's like 10 seconds left. So you get one less place to worry about, and so you get spaced out so you don't get locked down on the side. You have to stay on the side because they can easily just ninja defuse if you don't, and you see that a lot. So if, for example, on overpass, you don't have to be scared. You need to stay on the side on A. Don't go bathrooms. Don't go long. Stay on the side. But you still have to have a guy or two out of the side. You have to be in the trade possibilities. You always have to know each other well, and you always have to know how to trade each other. It's very important for just Counter-Strike basics. You have to know where the bomb is planted and where to plant the bomb, and it mostly depends on the out of the side guy for the afterplant. And you need to have an overview of where the other team is and how you're going to play versus them when you know where they are. And if you don't know where they are, you need to take some space so you can counter, or so you can take one spot away from them where they can come from. So that's basically get out of the side. So yeah, that's how you make an afterplant, a good afterplant in a good situation. And then I just hope you have the abilities to just get on the side. That's it for this time. See you later.